rise if you can.
May the Spirit enter into this room. May your hearts be filled with delight. May she ever surround and protect us, and may always her beauty be by our side. Our love has grown into a home, and suddenly everything I've learned is a place it can start. And finally love has come and taken a place in our heart. This is our welcoming. Open up and let it in. Feel it happening. Spirits beckoning. Welcome to our welcoming. May your eyes be filled with wonder and joy. May your arms be filled with delight. May your heart be easily open as the moment of grace at the birth of a child. The little touch shows me so much, and suddenly everything I've learned is a place that can start. 'Cause finally love has come and taken a place in our heart. This is our welcoming. Open up and let it in. Feel it happening. Spirits beckoning. Welcome to our welcoming. This is our welcoming. Open up and let it in. Feel it happening. Spirits beckoning. Welcome to our welcoming.
You can tell John is back in the house. And we're waiting for Nancy to come back soon. So, as an affirmation for peace in the Middle East and in solidarity with our Muslim and Jewish brothers and sisters, all of us people of the book, we greet one another. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. Shalom. Well, as most of you know, I'm Reverend Vicki Elder, and it is my joy and honor to welcome you to Unity of Monterey Bay, a beloved community co-created with love and intention that welcomes all people, all races, ages, cultures, ethnic backgrounds, economic circumstances, nationalities, and religions. Whatever your immigration status, sexual orientation, gender identity, family configuration, and/or abilities. Whether you're here with us in person or joining us virtually, we know that love knows no boundaries. We are one in spirit. As a purpose-driven church, Unity of Monterey Bay is an inclusive spiritual community committed to co-creating an environmentally sustainable, spiritually fulfilling, socially just, and compassionate human presence on this planet. We celebrate our oneness and honor the God of each of our understanding, affirming the innate good and divine essence within each and every individual. Would you please join me in our statement of faith? There is only one presence and one power in the universe, God the good, expressing as infinite God beyond us, intimate God beside us, inner God being us, divine love in action. And as we allow this knowing to deepen within our souls and serve to awaken us into enlightenment for the benefit of all living beings, we join in holding a high watch for our nation, and for our world with this prayer for peace. I offer you peace.
I offer you peace.
I offer you love.
I offer you love.
I offer you friendship.
I offer you friendship.
I see your beauty.
I see your beauty.
I hear your need.
I hear your needs.
I feel your feelings.
I feel your feelings.
My wisdom flows from the one source,
My wisdom flows from the one source.
and I bow to that source in you.
And I bow to that source in you.
Let us work together for you and love.
Let us work together for unity and love.
And now, please affirm with me. Thank you, God, for this most amazing day. Miracle follows miracle, and wonders never cease. Well, it's the first Sunday of October, so it's birthday Sunday. So all you October folks, there is a silver Camry, and it's running. The engine's running. Does it belong to anybody here? Okay, well, it doesn't belong, sounds like it doesn't belong here. So anyway, if you didn't get to come up sometime in the last couple of months and it was your birthday and you weren't here, you're welcome to come up and get your birthday blessing.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, you're wonderful. Happy birthday to you. God is blessing you now. God is blessing you now. God is blessing you, you're wonderful. God is blessing you now.
Now, as we do every week, we celebrate our children, those in our spiritual community, in our families, and in our larger community, all the children of the world. We hold them in our hearts and we see them protected and resilient, creative and evolving, joyous and loved as we join in our heartfelt blessing. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you just the way you are.
This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
So now I invite you to take a deep breath in, let it out with an audible sigh, as we center ourselves to embrace this blissful interconnection with Spirit and invite the chime to call us into this sacred space within. We ring the chime 4 times to call in the 4 directions and remind us of our interconnection with all of creation and with the sacred circle of life. As we feel it resonate through our very beings, we follow its call into this now present moment within. Continuing to focus on our breath, with each inhale, we open our hearts and minds. We envision our breath reaching every cell of our being. And with each exhale, we see all barriers and obstacles dissolving into this divine flow. Again, as we inhale, we expand the spaciousness within us. We move beyond the limitations and boundaries of our bodies. And as we exhale, we ground ourselves deep within Mother Earth and into our oneness with the universe. Finally, we breathe our awareness into the highest expression of love, light, joy, and peace we can imagine, as we experience a transforming wave of gratitude. And with a fullness of heart, we say yes to it all, embracing, claiming, and knowing the divine Christ Spirit expressing in, through, and as us. And with a final exhale, we say thank you, God. Now fully centered and transformed by the power of Spirit, we enter into our lesson and meditation time with today's daily word.
We read from today's daily word, shared with permission of Unity, publisher of Daily Word, that can also be found at dailyword.com. And the word is divine order. I invite you to allow my words to be your words. My life is in rhythm with divine order. If I am feeling out of step and not in sync with the world around me, I pause to affirm divine order. I need not pray for divine order because it is an enduring spiritual truth that is always present in my life and in all life. When it feels far from me, I need not despair. I trust the messages I get from my mind and body to rest when my body tires, and to step away from busyness when I feel frazzled. I also discern when to seek the company of others and when to seek solitude. By honoring my natural rhythms, I once again feel restored to order. Affirming divine order increases my awareness of God within me. I am in harmony with the world around me when I honor the world within me. I respect and respond to my internal rhythms and align with divine order. And from the scriptures, so Jotham became strong because he ordered his ways before the Lord his God. 2 Chronicles chapter 27, verse 6. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us, by and by. It's in every one of us to be free. Find yourself, open your eyes and see. We can all have all that we need without ever knowing how. It's in every one of us, here and now. We can all have all that we need without ever knowing how. It's in every one of us, here and now. In witness to the wisdom of the many paths to the sacred, we read from 3 sacred traditions on this morning's topic, communicating with love. From Buddhism, love can be defined as a wish that others be happy. Compassion is the wish that they be free from suffering. If you cultivate love and compassion within yourself, it will ensure happiness, good health, and peace of mind. From Sikhism, in the house of my heart, I sing the song of rejoicing and bliss. and from Christianity. Instead, we will speak the truth in love, growing in every way more and more like Christ. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 15. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is sacred love. I will leave this day as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this day as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is sacred love. I will leave this life as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this life as it is, go inside to find my God. Go inside to find my God. I'll go inside to find my God.
Now, it is my honor to introduce our guest speaker. We've been talking about it every week for the last couple of months, and so he asked me to introduce him as a love and relationship coach. And so, with no further ado, Corey, do you use your middle name?
Yes.
Corey Lyon Folsom. Welcome.
Thank you.
And be sure to think about staying for the workshop after. You can still sign up and come. So.
Thank you, Reverend Vicki. My name is Corey Lyon Folsom, and I am absolutely delighted to be here. And before I talk about why today is the best day of my life, I just want to talk a bit about soul statements, which, along with other methods of successful communication, will be the subject of the afternoon workshop. I just want to speak to that a bit now. Soul statements, I coined that term to describe a type of self-talk that brings forth your best qualities during moments of uncertainty or distress, those times where you need it most. And soul statements are based on the premise that answers are in our center. And so why not have a mnemonic, a key, a cue to shift into the best version of you in those moments? And so we're all familiar with an affirmation that where we emotionally inhabit what we desire as a state or an experience. And although stated in present tense, it's affirming what you wish to be or become. Whereas soul statement is a present time declaration about the eternal, unchanging nature of your soul. With a soul statement, you're not attempting to trick your brain. You're not trying to inhabit that future version. You are taking a stand for your strength, resourcefulness, and your value. By remembering who you are, what you are, in those moments of doubt, when unhelpful thoughts arise, that anchors you into greater calm, greater resourcefulness, that can then help you make that next thought be a more empowering one, more in line with how you want to be, how you wish yourself to be in the world. And so some examples of soul statements that I personally use. My heart is a treasure. Why not feel that, think that, in that moment where you feel less than? My heart is a treasure. I'm held in God's love. The real me is enough. We each have a deep place within where certainty and purpose resides. And we can script in advance how we want to talk to ourselves to increase that emotional coherence. And so a soul statement tunes your thinking to be more in alignment with your higher self, your innermost truth. And we don't have to accept our mind's narration at face value. But the soul statement is that tool to then, when you hear that program starting to run, you can say, as I do, oh, that's an old story. A more empowering thought for me right now is, a better thought for me now is, my heart is a treasure. I'm held in God's love. And so when that some version of less than, I'm feeling less than, you might say to yourself, or aloud if you're by yourself, I have strength within me. Or, my distress is not a forever condition. And so feeling the emotion of this is what will supercharge its impact. And you can allow the knowing that when you say, my heart is a treasure, or I'm held in God's love, you can let the truth of that wash through your body. And you'll know you really have it when you feel your cells vibrate with, yes, we agree. That's true. And so that's the real power of a soul statement, is it's true. It's your soul truth that you bring to the surface mind in those moments. And so that's why I suggest spending some time in stillness and finding one or more or several soul statements that are in your back pocket for in those moments of when you're feeling less than. So it's something that you kind of do ahead of time. And I personally have lots of soul statements. They're more kind of tailored or customized to the untrue thoughts. Whereas I have coaching clients, this one woman I'm thinking of, she just picked one. And it's the soul statement that she feels most solid with, most aligned with, and she just tells herself, I got this. And that works for her for everything, which is great. The thing is, you'll feel more solid and sure when you're in touch with that solid and sure place that lives within. And your body is wise. Its responsiveness will let you know when you're heading in the right direction. A couple more soul statements. I have a beloved that dwells within. My heart is a trusted guide. And conversations you have with yourself are the most important ones. Inner dialogue can be our worst enemy. Inner dialogue can also be your ally and a path to a better life. And so I found that greater freedom and optionality occurs when we don't just accept that mental chatter, and that, and so this new thinking that, oh, I used to think that. Here's what's really true. That's literally a path to a better life, and a path to a more empowered response that you will be happy with later. So it's like making that voice in your head a personal coach that just stays with you 24/7. And soul statements as a tool, they get sharper with use. So you can think of them as a personal truth calibration. Just like if you watch a bicycle mechanic truing a bicycle wheel, it's lots of little adjustments. Little each. This spoke needs a little turn, that spoke needs a little turn, and it just gets trued. And so that's how life goes. We just make those little adjustments because we all drift. And it's a way to, when you notice you're drifting or someone tells you, hey, you're off, you can truth calibrate back with a soul statement. And so it's not about staying on top of things, but as someone said, it's about getting to the bottom of you again and again and again. And so, as we all know in this room, there's a place in your center where you can tune out everything that's not you. We just have to press pause on listening to the noise of everything else. And your heart is an eternal lodestar. Your heart is truth. And when we come back into our heart knows. Our heart knows what to do and will tell us. And since our brains respond to repetition, just like a craftsperson gathers up their tools to go to the job, we can gather up a few soul statements to just pull out and apply in those moments to counter that unhelpful thinking. So you might ask yourself right now, how often could I benefit from spending a brief contact with my center? A couple more soul statements. My body is wise and knows just what I need. My body is truth. My body knows how to heal itself. And so when you shift your attention from surface thoughts to something deeper, you shift into a more potent version of you. So who wouldn't want to be that? Just that aligned, grounded, centered version of you that's how I see myself. And so that's how I want to live. With what I think of me is what I want to live as. I think of myself as a kind person. And so if I'm acting in an unkind way, that's the time to get back on track. I love what Ralph Waldo Emerson said or wrote. What's behind us and what's before us are small matters compared to what's within us. And I love these other two soul statements. The secure part of me is more powerful than the worried part of me. And here comes my personal favorite. I am lovable even when I forget that is so. And so use your soul statements as self-inspiration when that mind repeats that unhelpful phrasing. I know I'm kind of saying the same thing over and over again in different ways, but it helps me to say it again and again. New stories will get us where we want to be. A new beginning happens when we say it does. A more grounded state is always available. Keep reminding yourself that answers are in your center. And today is the best day of my life. Why do I say that? Am I just repeating a platitude or saying something that sounds enlightened? That may be true, and I believe it. There have been days in my life that maybe held more adventure, more contentment, more ease, more connectedness, excitement, joy. There have been other days that held hardship, loss, disappointment. And all those previous days, whether awesome or mediocre or something else, they've passed into memory. They inform my psyche. They've led me to here, but they're behind me. And all future days, well, they haven't arrived yet. And they're not guaranteed. Well, they're definitely not unlimited. Today is the day that matters most because this is the day I am living. I'm experiencing it in real time, and any future day will then be the new best day when it's occurring. So today, because I'm feeling it, I can taste it, I sense it, is the best day. And I've had to do some difficult tasks in the last few years that were made easier by remembering that I hold the prize. And the prize, as I define it, is an aware, compassionate life. Compassion for myself, for others. I love what Rudyard Kipling wrote. And it's a longer thing, but the essential part of it is triumph and disaster are both imposters. And for me, a simple life is a good thing, a really good thing. Life is enough. And I think to times where I've seen people who are incapacitated to the point where they can't get out and they can't do things, and I look at them and I think, wow, they don't have a lot from my perspective to live for or to do, but they're here. And God's in agreement that they're here because they are. But they're fighting to stay here. So I think about that, and I think that what that must mean is here is worth fighting for. The blessing of life is enough. Being present is enough. And if I were in the commandment writing business, I'd inscribe one as "Be thou here." And one time when I was feeling my most low and depressed, and I made the excellent decision to call my best friend. He lives over there in Santa Fe, so I don't see him a lot, but I called him up. And after listening to my tale of woe, he said the best words I could have heard. He said, "Well, Corey, focus on what you're gaining, not what you're losing." So, and that just hit me. And it changed my emotional posture. Boom, right there. Instantly, I got it. And I thought, oh, yeah. In exchange for treatments and medications and all sorts of other stuff that I didn't want to do, I was gaining time. Time under the eternal blue sky. Time to walk barefoot on the earth. Time with my beloved partner, with my family. Time to enjoy being Corey. Time to contribute, to finish my book, and other things I wanted to do. And so, today is not a rehearsal for tomorrow. And I really like this quote attributed to Kuan Yin. Don't make light of suffering, but find light in suffering. I'm going to go back to this page now. So I want to share a practice with you that I do every day. I stand first thing, or close to first thing, where I can see the light that's filling the world. And I just stand there and I feel gratitude. I on purpose feel, oh, I'm here. And I'm blessed with another day. I get to be here. And this light, I imagine the light as filled with God's love, as God's essence. And I let it fill me as it fills the room. And I feel it imbued with peace and love. And I let it enter me, the light. I imagine it entering me. And I feel the silence. And I offer the silence within me as an offering to the great silence. And so I'm getting a gift at that moment by contacting that silence, by letting myself be silent. And I feel the daylight as a healing force. I let myself rest in optimism. And oftentimes I'll think the soul statement, I'm held in God's loving care. That's how I start my day. I don't always get to do the long version of it, but I do some version of it. And so listening to me right now, notice the light in this room. Can you imagine it as filled with God's essence, with healing and grace? Let's act as if this is so. And I often remember this song that was recorded in the 1920s from the Copper Eskimo, the Inuit of Baffin Island. And the words are as follows. I think over again my small adventures, when with the wind I drifted in my kayak and I thought I was in danger. My fears, those small ones that seemed so big, and for all the vital things I had to get to and to reach. And yet, there is only one great thing, the only thing, to live, to see the light that dawns and fills the world. Let me tell you a story. I'd been camping in the back of Beyond for, I think, about 8 weeks. I was a 2-hour drive from the nearest paved road. And my job was to kind of oversee this little group of people that were moving semi-nomadically, and the instructors weren't particularly experienced. So I had to hike about 9 hours every day, looking for routes and water sources in this convoluted canyon and mesa country in southern Utah, and which I loved. And one day, on the north slope of this mesa where there's a lot of timber, I just discovered this old road, and it stayed flat and level and just followed the side through the forest, and it had been unused for many years. I'm guessing about 15 years since a vehicle had driven on it because of the size of the little trees that were growing up in it. But it was flat. It was mostly covered with pine needles. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Flat ground. No obstacles, really. And I was like, so I started walking down the road, and because I didn't have to stay so aware of my surroundings, I started watching my shoelaces to make sure they stayed tied, which is another way of saying I was lost in thought. And as I was walking, I'm noticing these anthills, and they weren't like the normal cone anthill. They were dished in. I'm like, so they were the cone going this way. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. There's different kind of anthills in this country. Well, duh. The hint should have been bears love to scoop out anthills. And I thought of that. And then what they do is they scoop them and they lick the ants off their paws. So it was a little, little windy deal there. And I remember coming around a bend in the road, and it just occurred to me to look up. And so basically the distance from me to that video camera, so we'll call it 10 yards, was a mama bear standing on her hind legs, looking like this. She was coming around the bend with this quizzical look on her face. And I knew it was a mama bear because she had a little cub at her feet. And I stopped, and I just instantly knew that if I tried to run, she'd be on me before I got 2 steps. And I also instantly knew that if I tried to, bluff and do some sort of bluffy anger thing, that she would accept the challenge and fight to protect her cub. And I also instantly knew I had one only option, which was to inhabit love. And I stood there. I wasn't carrying anything. And I stood there, and I just felt love to these creatures. And I let love flow from my heart over to her. And she kept her quizzical look. And I watched. There was dappled sunlight. And it was hitting spots on her fur, which was cinnamon-colored. And it was just glistening and glittering. And there was so much power compressed into this moment. I was just in awe and wonder and love. And we just stood there. The seconds ticked by. Nothing changed. I just felt this amazement. Minutes went by. It felt like 10 minutes. It was probably 3. And I turned my palms open like this, which she noticed. She was watching me very closely. And then very softly I spoke. And I said, I love you. And so she went down on all fours, and the cub scampered up the hill into the trees. She looked at her cub, she looked at me, and she walked up the trees into the woods. And I went, and I turned around and walked backwards. I went back around the bend. I sat down on a little log, and I sat there for about 20 minutes to give them space. I continued on my way. Years later, I was the director of a different wilderness program. And these are programs for, the first one was for basically teenagers attempting to be kind of in that phase where they're becoming sober and clean from alcohol and drugs. But this other program was adults. Same thing. It's a sobriety, early initial sobriety program. And so and we had a recent arrival, and it was my job to kind of bring them in one at a time to join their respective groups. And so I had brought this person in there, and there were some other people coming off a Vision Quest, and so I stayed and conducted a sweat lodge ceremony and coming back into the community, these young people. And so I was there. And then that night, this young man who I had just brought in, he was only days off regular methamphetamine use. And he decided that this wasn't the place for him. And so he was out. And our protocol, because they were adults, was to just follow at a distance just to make sure he didn't fall off a cliff or something. And so we followed. And there was 2 instructors of the group. One of them came with me, and we just followed this young man. And for a while, I had kind of gotten up there and talked to him some, and he just wanted to rant and rave about how terrible we all were and how this was just a rotten situation. So he was in the raving and ranting mode, so he wasn't in the listening mode. So I just dropped back and walked with the instructor, and he was 50 plus yards ahead, and we just walked, and a couple hours go by, and it starts getting dark, which is fine. And then it got more dark. And so we thought, well, let's scoot up a little bit so we can at least hear him walking up there, and we know we're kind of in contact that way, and we're not going to lose him. And there was a bend. And so we were hurrying up to catch up close. Well, around the bend, he had stopped and was waiting. So I came around the bend, and I was like, oh, he's right there, about from me to that camera. And he was just standing there quiet in the dark, and he just took these strides toward us. And I thought in that moment, he could hurt me. I also thought in that moment, I can handle whatever happens. I'm just going to trust. Well, he came right up to me and put his arms up and gave me a hug. And it was okay. He had thought things over and decided that we were his allies and he would give it another try. And so we walked on back to the camp, and he went on and continued the rest of the 6-week program in good form, and his life was made better. All our lives were made better. And in both instances, if I had made a decision other than just to trust and to love, there would have been different outcomes. Whoops. And the goodwill would have evaporated. And I tell these stories just to illustrate the power of non-defensiveness and open-heartedness. And so why not bring your best qualities forth? Some courage, some resourcefulness, and vulnerability, maybe in more day-to-day situations. And I also think, what if one of our primary jobs is to live in wonder, at least more of the time? What if we considered that this person in front of us, whether a companion or just someone we just met, what if their response is perfectly natural, given how they grew up, their family, their neighborhood, their friends, their bullies, their gender, their whatever, different than mine? So they're not always going to, maybe most of the time, they're not going to respond in a way I would. But I had a different upbringing. And so I think wonder and non-defensiveness is a good thing. Oh, and as with most people, I need reminders of lessons already learned. So this summer, I was driving from Northern California to Southern, and I like to go down the coast, and I cut over from Paso Robles to get into the Central Valley, and there's this little lump of hills out there, and kind of the halfway-ish point, and I always generally pull over, and there's a little spot. It's pavement, but it's just a side road that maybe almost never gets used, and I park there, and I just stretch my legs a little bit, and it was getting into dusk, and there was a little snake, maybe a rattlesnake, it looked like a rattlesnake, little guy, just on the side of the asphalt there, soaking up that remnant warmth from the day. And I thought, cool! I got my phone camera, and got my camera, and I put it there, and I can see the little thing, and I'm like, click, 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 and he's right there. I'm like, oh, this is cool. He's so beautiful. Click, click. And he coiled up and lunged at my foot. And I went, whoa. He lunged again. And he lunged again. I'm like, okay, all right. So I got a safe distance back, and I was back in my car, and I was like, it hit me. Oh, yeah. I forgot to first open my heart and connect and appreciate and not just take. And just maybe I could have asked permission to get that close or to take photos. And so it made for a little different experience. I'm glad it wasn't a bear. But it was a good reminder to stay humble and present for others around me, whether human or non-human. And so I so appreciate your invitation to be here and your attention. May we all keep the faith in ourselves, in God, and each other.
Spirit within, carry me. Spirit within, carry me home. Spirit within, carry me home to the one. Spirit within, carry me. Spirit within, carry me home. Spirit within, carry me home to the one.
So I invite you to just get comfortable now in your seat and begin to bring awareness into your body so that you're feeling your body sitting there in the pew, feeling it supported by the cushion beneath you, feeling your feet on the floor. Beginning to bring your awareness into this now moment. Allow your attention to just naturally begin to rest on your breath so that you notice when you inhale and you notice when you exhale. And just rest gently there, noticing how the breath all on its own comes in And the breath goes out. Noticing the sounds that are present around you. The temperature of the air on your skin. And just arriving in this moment. This blissful, sacred, present moment. Feeling that presence of God that begins to become palpable to you as you let all the distractions fade away and bring your attention right here, right now. And just as the wonderful words of wisdom we just heard said, being here now is enough. Being right here in this moment, alive, with your senses awake, feeling your body, hearing the sounds, sensing your breath. This moment, this blessing of being alive is enough. This is the sacred moment. Not any of the things that have come before, not reaching for what has gone by, not lunging forward for what's coming next, but just savoring this moment right now, right here. This body, this breath, this sacred moment in the silence.
Spirit within, carry me. Spirit within, carry me home. Spirit within, carry me home to the one. Spirit within, carry me. Spirit within, carry me home. Spirit within, carry me home to the one.
Being here is enough. In this moment, I am held in God's loving care. Take those statements deep into your heart and anchor them there. And remember what this place feels like, knowing that you can come back here anytime, awakening to this present sacred moment. And so we are grateful for this learning, for this experience, for this community that supports us in our spiritual growth. And we say thank you, thank you, thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.
Unity of Monterey Bay is the collective consciousness and commitment of all of us who give of our time, treasure, and talent in order to sustain the spiritual community that is dedicated to transforming lives. We know that prosperity is a state of mind that finds blessings in every situation and abundance in joyous generosity. We transform all appearances of fear or lack into a faith-filled peace of mind by shifting our attention to thoughts of gratitude for the abundance of God's good in our lives. As the ushers now come forward, I invite you to think of something specific that you're grateful for in this now moment. And now, with our hearts and minds overflowing with gratitude, we breathe into the divine flow of God's good, trusting that we are enough, that we have enough, and that there always is enough to both have and to share. We give thanks for all the ways you give, in person, online, monthly bank auto payments, using the QR code from the pews or from the screen, or your credit card in the sacred grounds. And we ask that everyone join in faith and gratitude as we pass the offering baskets this morning by holding and blessing the basket as it passes to you. And now, please join me in our offertory blessing. I am an open channel for God's infinite good. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies everything I give and everything I receive. I am both blessed and a blessing. Thank you, God.
To feel the infinite, I'm reaching out to know the divine. I'm reaching out to feel the infinite. Yeah, forever is already mine. I'm reaching out to feel the infinite. I'm reaching out to know the divine. I'm reaching out to feel the infinite. Yeah, forever is already mine. I'm already home. I'm already known. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm going deep to feel the infinite. I'm going deep to know the divine. I'm going deep to feel the infinite. Yeah, forever is already mine. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm rising up to feel the infinite. I'm rising up to know the divine. I'm rising up to feel the infinite. Yeah, forever is already mine. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul.
so it is with great joy that we bless and give thanks for these gifts and offerings that demonstrate our collective commitment to the spiritual work of love and transformation in our lives and in our world. We dedicate this offering, our lives, and this ministry to more fully expressing the Christ light that is the truth of our being and inviting all people to know God's love. Finally, knowing that one with God all things are possible, we affirm together that the good is now, the rest is blessed, and the best is yet to be in our lifetime. Gently. And so for our awesome music today, we want to thank Daniel Namod, Reverends Rory Elder and Bodie Ross Campbell, David Pomerantz, Kenny Loggins, and of course our awesome music team. Yay! And I see our joy singers increasing, more people standing up and singing, and that's awesome. I'm so glad. Okay, for announcements today, let's see. First of all is just a big thank you to everyone who helped make Friday night's Autumn Fest a huge success. So we especially want to thank Kay Payan, Martha Price, Sue Roysowitz, Marianne Boylan, Paco Vargas, Tim Taylor, Robin Falkenberg, and Pam Griever, all who helped set up and helped with the auction, and Kay that did the decorations. And do we have like an unofficial? No? Wait, we'll save it for the e-blast. Okay. Yeah, well, our DJ had COVID, so that was an unexpected thing that we couldn't fix. And plus, I was not really feeling like up to the Macarena, so I'll double Macarena next year. Oh, okay. The Fossler Daniels party that is on Saturday, this coming week, right? Still has openings. So if you're interested, 3 openings. So if you're interested in attending, you can sign up for that in the Sacred Grounds. It says Vicky next to Highway Cleanup.
So, as most of you know, Larry had agreed to take over Highway Cleanup for 6 months, and it went on for about 9. And so, what we're at a decision point here. We've had a lot of folks volunteer. What I got this idea, and I'm going to throw it out to you to see if we can make this work, or if it's time for us to let this project go. I was thinking if we had 4 leaders that stepped up, they would only have to do it 3 times a year. 3 months out of the year would be the month that they led the cleanup. So we have, like Robin has been doing Saturdays and such, and Martha has gotten involved, and Larry's gotten involved, and John's been involved and such. So I just would like you to pray about that, because we're going to have to make a decision soon. If there of you folks or anybody else would like to step up, we would still need volunteers on the weekend that person was leading, but we'll announce and all that sort of thing, and with the team we'll work out which months who's doing it. But so I'm just offering that as a suggestion, and we'll see if it grows and comes to fruition, or if Spirit is saying it's time for us to let go of this project. So think about it, and we'll talk about it maybe next week, or talk to Michelle or I if you're interested in being one of those 4, and we'll see how we can put it together. Thank you.
Well, okay, the next thing is the workshop today, but first I just wanted to thank Corey. Where'd he go? Oh, okay. Well, I wanted to thank him for an awesome talk today. I know I got a lot out of it, so thank you. And I'm sure you all won't be surprised to know that my favorite parts were the snake and the bear stories. And all I want to know is, do you think that maybe if I had known that technique, that would have worked with Elvis the Rooster?
What about the spiders?
The spiders. Yeah, I'll have to find out how that works when they're like coming at you. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm all over the place. All right. Next Sunday, after the service. 2 weeks from today, after the service, is a celebration of life for Diane Davenport. So put that on your calendar. Okay, so again, Corey, while you were out, we thanked you for an awesome talk today. And I'll have to talk with you more about how that bear thing works. So I've had a few of my own wildlife encounters. Might have been able to use that. Not sure if it works on roosters that are coming at you that are named Elvis. We'll see about that. If you are, we're hoping that you'll stay, and for the workshop, it's going to be up here, right?
Yes.
So are we going to give folks a...
I'll let you go down. You can go get, or some of us, we've been talking about a potluck downstairs. Would you brought stuff?
If you brought stuff or you want to share stuff. So what time are we going to start?
12:30, right? 12:30.
Oh, 12:30. Okay, so we have a break. So we have time to get lunch, to go downstairs and share lunch or go grab something or whatever you're going to do and come back. And our workshop will begin at 12:30 up here. Okay, awesome. Sue. Yeah. Careful there.
Too much dancing or something, too much auctioneering. Quick announcement. As many of you know, we're a member of COPA, an organizing, what are they? An organizing group that builds relationships with other institutions in the county and does some really good work for social justice and making our lives better in our community. We have an all-out need for attendance coming up on October 26th. It's a Saturday, 3 to 5, in Spreckles. It's going to be at the Spreckles Veterans Center. If you want to have an experience, some of you do, you've come to our conventions, it's going to be another experience of where our goal is to put 200 to 300 people in a room. We're organized with our common goal of getting affordable housing built and building up the workforce in our community. Senator Caballero is going to be in attendance. We've had a relationship with her for 20 years, and she's moving on to another area, but we want to celebrate our work with her, and she'll share her story of doing work with COPA. And we hope to have 12 to 15 local politicians and or influential business people who will be hearing our stories and concerns regarding affordable housing and workforce development. And we will be asking them in public for their commitments to support us in our agenda to make things happen locally. So bring a friend. There's a sign-up sheet in the sacred grounds. If you would just put your name and phone number, if you would like to carpool, we can do that. We're very good at staying on time. It'll be start at 3, it will end at 5. And, you know, it's an election year, national election year, and I don't think there's any other place where there will be local politicians face-to-face with 300 citizens like ourselves and making a commitment to our work, to getting something done in our community. So I hope you'll join us.
Thank you, Sue. All right, so with all of that, as we bring our service to a close this morning, we are so grateful that you have joined us, whether you're here in person or you're watching us on Facebook Live or watching later on our YouTube channel. We're just glad that you've decided to spend this time with us, and we hope that we've made you feel at home in our Unity of Monterey Bay community. And most importantly, we want you to know that wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Our chaplain on duty today is Robin. She's available to pray with you after the service, so we give thanks for that and the service of all of our prayer chaplains who are always holding the high watch for our community. So we're ready to form our closing circle for our prayer for protection and our peace song. John.
Wants to thank everybody.
Okay. We got to go a little bit more this way, I think. Hi, Sylvia. Can we come this way a little bit more so we can close the circle? John, did you?
Ask for this moment right now. I want to thank the community, family here for your prayers and blessings and love that you've been sending Nancy and me. It has a grand effect on us. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And I think that you guys also.
And Nancy's doing well?
She's doing well.
She's progressing, at a steady pace. Thank you all.
So let's continue to hold Nancy in this loving circle of prayer, and as well as James, where's James? Is he here? Okay, James, who is here today and still recovering. I'm still recovering. All those who are in need of prayer, just Steve. Yes, so holding all of these dear ones in this loving circle of God's love, lifting them up and seeing them healed, seeing them healthy and whole and complete. As we join in our prayer for protection, the light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as Creator. Family are we. Let us walk